Donald Trump was repeatedly humiliated today on Fox News by way of his advisors, who had disastrous interviews with Fox News hosts following the catastrophic jobs report from August, and we have to talk about it. But before we do, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, let's start with this. This is Kevin Hassett, who is one of Trump's top economic advisors, getting grilled by Fox News host Bill Hemmer.
Go ahead and get your hot take. It's not the number you wanted. It was not the number that was expected. How come?
Right. Well, one of the things we know is that they've been really at BLS struggling with bad response rates. And Goldman Sachs put out a study yesterday that said that they've been messing up the August seasonals so much that over the last 10 to 15 years, they've tended to have to revise up the number by around almost 70,000 jobs when they get the new final surveys.
So it's their fault?
And so, well, I'm saying that this number, we expect this number will be revised up. That's been the pattern over and over. And if that happens, then it'll be consistent with all the other indicators we're seeing. Industrial production is at an all-time high. Capital spending is up 8% over the first half of the year after it being mostly flat under Joe Biden. And also within the jobs report we got today, there are a lot of really interesting and positive patterns. Thing one is that all the job creation is private sector job creation. Government workers are actually, their employment declined by 100,000. All of the job creation is native-born workers, whereas about half of the job creation under Biden was foreign-born workers. And so there are a lot of real positive things to see. And the final thing is that the wage numbers are fantastic. The wage growth is almost at 4%, which means that the typical wage earner in America right now has gotten a $500 raise already because of Donald Trump's policies.
Okay, so the revisions for June and July collectively were lower.
We're lower,
and you're
right.
saying the revisions for next month will come back. We'll see whether or not that's the case.
Yeah, and there's another big revision next week. But the point is that these numbers, the reason why they're getting revised so much is that these numbers are based on surveys, and people are kind of not filling out the surveys until the last minute, and so that the share of surveys that have actually been filled out at the beginning of the month is way lower than it used to be.
Okay.
So you see him scrambling in real time to explain this disastrous report, which we've discussed in previous videos. Only 22,000 jobs created in August, which is about 50,000 fewer than were expected. The jobs for June were further revised downward to negative, I think it was 13,000 if I remember correctly. So 13,000 jobs lost, not created, lost, not a reduction of 13,000 as in net. We lost. It was a net loss of 13,000 jobs. Again, calamitous. We're seeing hemorrhaging in pretty much every major sector of the economy. Only healthcare is the sector that's propping up these anemic jobs reports. Every other major industry has seen a reduction. As Mediaite reports again, so it's their fault. Fox's Bill Hemmer challenges Kevin Hassett, blaming jobs report on the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Because again, it's just not true, to say nothing of the fact that Trump fired the Bureau of Labor Statistics commissioner last month, right? So who knows what's going to happen in the future. Actually, there have been some fairly disturbing points about the new person, E.J. Antony, whom he's nominated. Apparently, his internet alter ego, his internet history is really suspicious. I'll say that. It's not becoming of a major government official. It wasn't just Kevin Hassett who was visibly struggling on air to spin the disastrous numbers of the August jobs report. Now you have Lori Chavez DeRemer, who is the labor secretary under Donald Trump. And she was interrogated about the disastrous numbers by Fox Business host Stuart Varney, and she didn't do much better than Hassett.
The job market's slowing. Surely there is no excuse for the Fed not to lower interest rates sharply. I'm sure you agree with that, Madam Secretary.
Absolutely. Jerome Powell should be embarrassed by this report because he has not done his job. You know, the president was right in 2016, and the president is right now. Everybody has done their job. The president in his tariff talks, the trade deals, the trade deficit, making sure that that is for the American people, that he has balanced that. Congress did their part in passing the One Big Beautiful Bill, the working tax cuts for Americans, but Jerome Powell has not done his job. He needs to lower that interest rate so that makes sure all three legs of that stool are doing their job for the American people.
So they're blaming the jobs report on Jerome Powell, who's the chairman of the Federal Reserve. No, it's Trump's fault. These trade deals. What trade deals? As far as I'm aware, there is one trade deal that has ink on paper, and that is the UK deal, right? And they're like our 12th biggest trading partner. There are no ink deals with Canada, Mexico, China, every other country. Trump has since moved the goalposts and say, well, these unilateral tariffs that I'm imposing, those count. They're trade deals. They count, right? No, they don't, right? A bilateral trade deal is not the same as a unilateral tariff. A tariff is not a trade deal. Here's another clip from that interview.
Tariffs have anything to do with this slowing job market?
Tariffs are working. I've been on the road, as you know, in 32 states out of my 50-state tour. Tariffs are working. How do I know this? Because companies are reinvesting in the American workforce. We're seeing the consumer confidence up. We're seeing real wages up year over year, almost 4%. Real wages are up. Blue collar boom, I talk about it. It seems like something that is rhetoric, but it's not, because that's what we're seeing on the ground. Blue collar wages are up 1.4%. Unemployment is still holding steady. Statistically, it's non-existent. So that's the key to the American people, is that we're leaning in. We're doing everything we can for this workforce. And now this is one more thing that the Fed can do. And Jerome Powell hasn't done his job. And the president, that's why he's been so vocal about this.
So again, trying to blame it on Jerome Powell. And this is the lady who, by the way, said that Trump was going to bring back manufacturing jobs when manufacturing jobs have hemorrhaged on Trump's watch. We have seen a loss of manufacturing jobs under Trump, even though there was a manufacturing boom under President Biden. One more clip.
You admit to being just a little disappointed by this weakening job market.
Well, 22,000 jobs underperformed just a bit, but it's still in the positive. Almost 500,000 jobs have been created since the president took office. It's going to take some time. But again, when everybody's working for the American people and the American worker, and somebody chooses not to, and they're instrumental in those decisions that affect the market, that affect the wage growth, that affect all of those things, do your job. And I know that the president's not going to let up on this, and neither am I.
Okay, I want you to think about this for a second. It underperformed a bit. Economists expected more than 70,000 jobs. This jobs report came in at 22,000. That's more than 50%. Like, bro, what are you talking about? If that's just a bit of an underperformance, what the hell is a massive underperformance by her reckoning? Unemployment is higher than it was. It reached record lows under President Biden, lower than it ever was under Trump, and it's climbing on Trump's watch. She talks about 500,000 jobs created. Even if we take that number at face value, as I mentioned in a previous video, in 2024, the most recent year under Biden, the average monthly job creation number was 187,000 per month. Objectively far higher than what we're seeing under Trump. And Trump inherited that economy. Just don't fuck it up. Just keep the trends going. You've got it. Except he did exactly what he did when he inherited the Barack Obama economy. He drove it into the ground. And we're seeing him do it even quicker now. Again, unlike what Biden had to contend with, or what President Obama had to contend with, right? These recessions that they inherited from Republican lawmakers, a disastrous economy that Obama inherited from Bush, that Biden inherited from Trump term one. There's nothing like that. There was nothing like that. The economy, like inflation, was on its way down under Biden. The after effects of COVID had been largely dealt with. We reached higher levels of employment than we were under the pandemic. We'd largely recovered, and he's driven it into the ground. Such that you see, again, even Stuart Varney, like, come on, this isn't good, is it? Yeah, it's a smidge off. It's a little bit. What's a lot, really? 1,000 jobs up, 2,000, 5,000, 5,000 jobs off, 10,000 jobs off. We expected 70, it's only 60. But when you expect 70 and it's 22,000, this is embarrassing. Again, Hassett and Chavez DeRemer, really struggling in real time to do this. Is embarrassing for Trump, because these are supposed to be his most persuasive advocates, and they're on relatively friendly terrain. But Stuart Varney and Bill Hemmer were clearly not buying it. It's the Bureau of Labor Statistics' fault. They get the data wrong. It's Jerome Powell's fault. He hasn't cut the interest rates. No. by the logic that they prescribed during the Biden administration, this is Trump's fault. And we need to make sure that people understand that. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.